Hello, hello, and welcome to Your Business in Digital, the summer wrap-up series. I am Michael Wilshire, Director of Sales and Operations with Monovan Digital, and we're here this week to just talk a little bit about all things digital, as we are in between our regular season of Your Business in Digital. So glad if you're joining us for the first time. Thank you for joining us. We are here always to talk about what drives revenue and how do you maximize your return on investment when it comes to marketing and supporting your sales with digital marketing strategies and tactics. So, before we get into it, I believe we have a little call to action. If you want to, please subscribe, please connect with us, follow us on YouTube, or listen to us on your favorite streaming platform. We broadcast every week at this time, Wednesday at noon. And when YBID is in season, you will find out when the next season starts. So tune in for more good stuff there. So let's jump into it. What are we talking about today? Now that I've fumbled through my intro, we are talking email marketing myths and common mistakes. And saying myths alone, I'm just going to stop saying it because it sounds weird. But we're talking some of the common misconceptions and common errors that people have or they do when they're looking at their email marketing. Now, before we go into it, let's set this stage. Are you that business owner? You've invested in email marketing. Maybe you've gotten a couple hundred subscribers, maybe even up to 1,000 subscribers, and they've gone dormant. You've stopped, sending emails, or you send emails very sporadically, right? So we want to kind of address, what do you do? How do you really maximize from email marketing as a channel, as a tool? And why isn't it working for you? And what can you fix or change to make sure that it does work for you? And as we said, get you that ROI that you're looking for. So before we dive in, the first reason that you want to look at email marketing, email as a channel for marketing, is the ROI. It continues to have among the highest ROI of all the digital channels, $36 to $42 per dollar spent. Now, this is actually just costing what's going into it, right? So the email marketing platform, how much you're paying for that, how much you're relatively paying to just do those emails and send them out. But the average sale that you get from email means that you're looking at this type of ROI. So right there's one reason to think, well, am I using email marketing? One, and if I am, why am I not seeing anywhere near to this level of ROI? So let's jump into it. Let's deal with the first misconception or myth. Looks like I can't say that one either. But the first myth is consumers have too many emails already. So this is where I say, put yourself in the customer seat. Yes, we all have a lot of emails. Yes, it's a fact of life now with email. But which emails do you actually look at? Which emails are there, but you haven't unsubscribed to, and why haven't you unsubscribed to them? Customers are accustomed to email platforms were set up with e-commerce in mind initially. So that went on a strategy based on a large volume of subscribers and basically a discount strategy. So they would always send what's the latest discount. So it didn't matter when you were ready to purchase, there was a discount available to you. Now, this right here is why you might have that impression that we have too many emails, and you don't want to be in that seat of sending so many emails, but you don't have to be. That's absolutely a strategic choice and dependent on the industry you are in. For example, if you are a nonprofit, you do want to send regular emails about initiatives that are pertaining to fundraising or connected to fundraising, and you also want to be asking for that donation every time. So that too many emails, one is an opportunity for you to say, well, if I'm in the same industry, how can I do it better? Or two, I'm not in that industry and I don't require as many emails to get my customer to move along their journey and through my sales pipeline to that final point of purchase. Now, one thing that helps here with too many emails is making sure that you have a good segmentation strategy. You want to make sure that segmentation means that you are now grouping people who are in your subscriber list into different groups based on the actions they've taken. Have they made a purchase? Have they made a definitive step along that sales pipeline to the next point in the purchase journey, in the buyer's journey? So if you are in that business, a B2B space, that would look like, Are they making an appointment to get a proposal or to see a demonstration? So don't be put off by too many emails and what you receive. Ask yourself what's right in your industry. What have you subscribed to, and why have you subscribed to it? Did you stay subscribed? Did you unsubscribe? But all of this helps to inform how many emails you need to send based on your industry. And this takes us into the second myth. Email marketing is spam. Well, let's talk about cold calling. For those of us who remember those, those cold calls. I am calling to sell and I'm calling from this place. So what is spam? By definition, email spam is any unsolicited email. You did not give that email to the sender. So that is what technically spam is. That is the standard. You did not give your consent. It's all around consent, privacy, etc. So email marketing is not spam if somebody has actually given you their email. Now, going back to that telephone call, right? So here in YBID, when Tamara is on, that's our chief digital strategist, she would talk about treat it like dating when you're on that sales journey, when you're looking at the buyer's journey and what your sales pipeline is. So when you met somebody and you asked, and they said, you asked them for their number for whatever reason, let's say even if it's a personal interaction, they expect you to call, right? So you're not calling them with them not knowing, well, whose number is this? They may not have had your number. If you exchange everything, they will know who's calling, but they expect your call. Email is the same thing. So you're not sending spam. What tends to happen though is that you've got to make sure, what are you sending based on where they signed up? Did they give their email just as part of a contact me form, and then you started to send them a whole bunch of information on all the different products you have? That is not spam, but it can be received as if it's spam. So again, you've got to look at where they're coming in and what's the next thing I'm telling them. So you want to wrap your mind that the person has given you their email. They want to hear from you. That's the first thing. The second thing is that a lot of us get caught in that nurture cycle and using email to nurture forever. There must be an end point. Your email marketing channel can perform as a sales channel, and it should perform as a sales channel. So you want to make sure that you're clearly outlining what's the next step that's measurable, that takes them one step closer to buying or actually buying. So that takes care of how many emails you're going to send. So I'm not going to send you, if I'm in a B2B space, so we are a digital marketer, and let's say you signed up on our contact us for more information. The first thing we'd send you is maybe, what are you looking for? Are you looking for more social media services? Are you looking for a strategy? Then we may send them, well, listen, the next step in this is to book a consultation. Now, from the time they don't take that consultation booking, I may give them one more opportunity via one more email. That's all something that you can decide on based on data. We'll get to that. But you want to say, well, okay, they didn't take that action. Let's consider them not interested or not interested at this time, and stop sending emails. I don't need to convince somebody. I just need to have a clear path and look for those people who are taking that path and understand how I can make that journey easier and more accessible to more people. So that's email myth number one and myth number two. So we are talking the third myth now, which is it's time consuming. No, we've got to put time into all of these tools. They require that we produce content and we send that content out. But as I was saying before, if you consider email as a sales channel, then you're thinking of it as a sales pipeline. So you should be able to, and all email platforms have this, is that you are scheduling emails. So if you have a clear strategy, you are absolutely going to lean on the automation of pre-scheduling. And as I said before, it's not about how many emails. It's about having clear emails that take that person, that prospect, along the path to become a customer in whatever form that takes for your business. So time consuming, there are AI tools that we can lean on. There are templates that we can lean on. to make sure that we are setting these things up in beforehand that are sent out at specific times based on, again, on what the actions of the customer or the prospect has taken in previous emails. So you don't want to find yourself, let's say, you are trying to create, you say sign up for a newsletter, but then you're asking yourself, well, I don't know what newsletter to write. Well, what does that newsletter play in that customer's journey? And how does that newsletter get them to that next purchase step, whatever it may be? So if it's a B2C, it tends to be very direct. Here's the product, here's the sale, here's how you can get it, here's how it's shipped to you free of charge, etc. In B2B, it can be similarly as simple, but it just looks a little different. So you'd be setting up, again, let's look at that simple entry from a contact me or a subscribe to my newsletter or my blog, so that I am setting up my basic emails first. I'm setting up, of course, that first email, which is thank you for giving me your email. And that's not just thank you for subscribing. It's in context of, again, where did they give you the email? Is it a contact me form where it is thanks for reaching out? So make sure that that reply is worthwhile. Also, in that first email, make sure to take steps to say, make sure that that prospect is whitelisting you or making sure that their email provider recognizes your emails and does not put them into the spam or promotion folder. And that takes us into this next session. You can go back to the title slide before we get in. So in some of the common pitfalls, so you want to make sure that you are absolutely looking at setting up these emails beforehand. Like I said, that first email, whitelist me, thank you for subscribing. Here's what you can expect next. So you're setting that stage, right? Because again, they gave you their email. So that first window of opportunity is crucial. You've got to respond quickly. That should be an automated, as soon as they submit that form, they are going to get this email. Because of course, I'm looking for something to happen when I am given my email. And that should be either made clear on the form or in the email itself. But yes, that takes us nicely into the next section, which we are talking about, so that if you are one of those you're using email marketing, and as I said, you're not seeing the results at the level that you'd like to see them. And yet everything you read tells you, well, this is the ROI on email marketing. So one of the first flaws, you forget about mobile responsiveness. The majority of emails are opened on telephones, on your cell phone, on your mobile device, right? But the majority of emails tend to be designed on your laptop or on your desktop. So you want to make sure either that the provider that you're using, and that could be a MailChimp, an Aweber, a HubSpot, etc., that it has that responsiveness built in. Some do it better than others. But at the end of the day, when you're previewing that email, you want to make sure that you're looking at that email in a mobile preview to see how it looks. So that's an easy correction that you can make right there. And you want to make use of the fact that, as Nia, one of our team, when we did an email exercise, I told her, make use of that white space, right? Don't be afraid to break up your email and keep it short and succinct with a lot of white space. Think of your movement with your thumb on your phone. When you open an email, you're scanning pretty quickly. So you want to be able to focus and see what's relevant, what's clear, and avoid things like putting those call to action buttons in the same color, having them blend in. They need to stand out for a reason. So that's the first common mistake we want to get rid of. Treat with mobile responsiveness first. Assume that 100% of your emails are being opened on a mobile device. And that takes us to the next common mistake. So as I mentioned before, a lot of us treat email as we look at that top of funnel lead generation, getting a prospect, getting somebody who is possibly the right customer for my service or my product. Then we also talked about email in terms of nurturing, right? The emails that I send in between that either establish my authority, demonstrate the differences or the appeal of my service or product above a competitor's, etc. What we neglect to put in is this final call to action. And that call to action should be a sales-related call to action. As I said, for a B2C, it may be as simple as including the product and that button to buy within the email itself. In a B2B situation, it may be what's that definitive next step in your sales pipeline. So you should have what movements in that sales pipeline denotes a next step in their movement toward becoming a customer. So that may look like book a consultation. But you've got to get to this final point of when I get to this email and I've sent this email to a prospect, then I have asked for the sale. And after that, I will decide, well, okay, will I ask for it again later on? Or will I now disqualify this customer and say, well, this was a deal lost. They went through my pipeline and I did not win the sale. So we've got to get to that end point with CTAs. It's not just, look at us here. It's always including that call to buy or that next clear step in the call to buy or to purchase, right? Now, this is a common mistake where we may actually also put a lot of CTAs. Watch this here. Go to this link. Read this document. Well, break up those emails. That becomes 3 different emails. Because in order for you to measure the reaction to that, you want to include maybe 1 or 2 emails that have this 1 or 2 call to actions that have exactly the same purpose. So I may have different links within my email, but they all drive to my services page, regardless of what I'm saying. So that I can measure now that are people now engaging with my content and following the next step to my services page? And if they do, where did they go? So of course I'm cross-measuring. And because of that, I come back into the email and I say, right, they clicked my call to action. They clicked book a consultation. That triggers a different set of emails, which probably gets them to, okay, here's the consultation link. Here's the confirmation of the booking. Any email subsequent to that should have a call to action that's now, hey, we've talked, and here's a product that we think suits your business or is a solution that matches with what we spoke about. And again, that call to action should now be to complete the sale. So one of those mistakes, just to circle this all up, is the same mistake that is made in sales a lot of the time, not asking for the sale. And an email, this is what we call the call to action, as we call it in other places as well, but it's asking for the sale. And that takes us down to the next, and I think this is the last one that we have, of course, ignoring the analytics and failing to track those results, which help you to amend your strategy for better performance. Now, a lot of big words in there, ignoring analytics, etc. What do you tend to focus on? Are you looking just at your open rate? What you should be looking at is open rate in conjunction with click-through rate. So remember I said, you've got to have a call to action. You've got to ask for that sale. So you want to compare one, yes, that open rate, but of those who open now, who took the next step? Again, you don't want to have people just stuck in a nurturing sequence where, listen, you've sent them 10 emails, they still haven't bought something. They need to be expunged from your list or put into a bucket where there's a specific follow-up time at a later point in the year, maybe next year, maybe it's a seasonal thing that you've missed the window and you want to catch them next season, right? So you've got to look at your analytics, like I said, together, open rate with click-through rate, understanding that you've put one clear call to action within a series of emails. So you understand that that should drive clearly to this product, to this sale, where you can measure how many people are engaged based on their clicks. And of course, your email platform is going to give you a bit of engagement metrics to see how many people have read the entire email. So that's some of the myths that we've covered and some of the common pitfalls. But we definitely just want to reiterate the fact that email as a marketing channel has a very high ROI. And if you haven't seen those results, maybe one of these things has been holding you back. And this is a way that you can now look at it and say, okay, let's approach this a little differently. Ask yourself these questions. What am I trying to sell via email? Am I trying to sell getting a consultation? Am I trying to sell having them book a demonstration? Am I trying to sell donate, make a donation. So these are all things that you want to say from the outset. This is what I'm doing. Then you're going to break down what emails form the part of that lead generation when they just give their email. Maybe that's two emails: the hi, thank you for signing up, and the what's going to happen next. Then there's the nurturing emails. Again, that could be another 2 to 3 emails that just says this and these are the reasons. Maybe I demonstrate authority in the first email. Maybe I demonstrate product in the second email. But in those 3 emails, I will have that call to action to buy, right? And then there's that deal closed or won stage. That final set of emails, that's that final push to say, listen, are you on board with this? Is it something you're interested in? And it's not at this time, etc. But that's the close of that email channel. And then you can now start afresh from the top with your new leads. So make sure that you're collecting emails and you understand where you're collecting them from, which informs what emails come next. Understand what you're ultimately trying to sell and have an endpoint of emails in that sequence so that once somebody has gone through this entire sequence, you are now either qualifying them as a hot lead or a deal won or a deal lost. So I hope that wasn't too much. We tried to make this simple. Like I said, define your goals for email marketing. Is it brand awareness? Is it driving traffic? But ultimately, what are you selling? And build that permission-based email list. And that just means people are voluntarily giving you their email for a specific purpose, which is they are unsure if they want to be sold, right? And you are trying to sell them. So build that permission-based email, but keep it clean and keep it managed. Make sure that you put them through a path that ends somewhere so that you can start again and you can optimize that path where necessary. We hope you found this valuable and definitely join us every Wednesday at 12 noon, where we'll spend 25 minutes or so talking about practical things that you can do this summer to improve your marketing and, more importantly, improve the return on investment that you have. This was all about email marketing. If you have questions or you think that you want to take a second look at your email marketing, definitely reach out to us at Monovan Digital. We'd be happy to have a consult. And we are happy to provide assistance in setting up that email strategy for you and one that provides results. Thanks again. This has been your Business in Digital, the summer wrap up. I'm Michael Wilshire, and have a great week.